My name's Andrew Turner from MidVision. I'm the VP of Marketing, and what I'm going to talk to you about today is MidVision. What we do is we help regulated industries automate IT to release more often for less. So, quick question for you. I presume you've used the internet or your mobile device to access your banking facilities in the last 3, 6, 12 months, yeah? So I don't know if you've been involved, you've probably seen in the press some outages, some unavailability, credit cards, issues like that. May have hit the press. One of the things we do is help organisations in regulated industries avoid those kind of outages. And we'll explain how we do that in a second. Obviously, people have talked about in the keynotes a bit earlier. They talked about the areas of innovation. They talked about the Pacman effect of Apple and Google and Amazon, etc., coming into this financial services sector. Yeah, so I don't know if you're aware, but Amazon release over 10,000 IT changes into their web estate and various different assets every day. One of our customers, who's a bank, releases just less than half that per month. So obviously the volume of changes and the velocity of change is slightly different from the web world to the financial services industry. So what we obviously have to consider, though, within the financial services industry and regulated industries is how you keep compliant and how you manage that thing about risk and regulation, yeah? So you can't forget about that. So the advantage we have is that, our unfair advantage, is that we were born in a bank. So originally our software platform was built within one of the tier 1 banks, and we brought it out of the bank and offer it to not only obviously financial services companies, but also other industry sectors as well. To allow you to So we understand intrinsically what you need to do to deliver change rapidly in this kind of banking insurance market. We understand ITIL, so how you deliver service delivery models. We understand how you integrate into governance models that you need to do to keep compliant. There is a concept called continuous delivery and DevOps, which you may have heard of, where you get the developers and the operations teams to talk to each other, rather than saying, I've developed my code, it's all perfect. And then the operations guys go, oh, we better put it into production. Yeah? So how do you get that working? And how do you continually deliver the innovation into your customers' hands? So the way we do that is effectively, what's the point in actually having some agile development? You develop some code, some new innovative feature or application, you do that in a couple of weeks. And then it takes you 3 to 6 months to put that into a live customer hands, yeah? Because you can't actually package up that code, that configuration, that stack of different software at different layers of complexity. How do you get that into a data center in a smooth, safe way? So we effectively, using our platform, RapidDeploy, we effectively allow you to get that into that either on-premise or cloud deployment, so within your firewall or outside on Amazon or whatever, but also using that IT change in order to build way and track everything in a compliant way. So you get the best of both worlds, speed and compliance. But also at scale. So gone are the days when you run applications of this size, on one server. It's potentially, you've got hundreds of applications potentially that you might want to deploy to thousands of servers or tens of thousands of servers to millions of users. So how do you actually do that and support that high performance transformation? So we enable people to do that, but deploy that in a consistent way. Yeah, so it's a safe way of deploying applications. So in that way, we can develop things faster, because people talk about fast innovation. They want to have an idea, and they want to get that into the hands of the customer as quickly as possible to have competitive advantage. But also, they want to do it safely, to avoid outages that we talked about before, but also do it from a reasonable cost point of view. So how do you avoid rework? How do you avoid backing things out and then actually deploying it again? Get it right first time. So give you some idea of some of the customers we've worked with. So we worked with the largest UK government department, and we helped them deploy their new customer applications, and we took it down from 6 days to 6 hours. The program director of that program said that they'd never experienced a program where they actually delivered ahead of schedule, under budget, and to the scope. That was unheard of in government programs. On the healthcare side, so effectively a business that's 110 billion, it's equivalent to like part of the NHS over in the US. They classify our application now as a mission-critical application because it effectively runs payroll, healthcare records, financial transactions for the whole of that business. To the point where actually Gartner have actually found us and said, hey guys, you're pretty cool. You're a cool vendor because you actually have some innovative capability which is quite rare, where we can actually provision not only the applications, deploy the application, but we can also deploy the actual environment that you actually run the application in, whether it's a web app, a mobile app, etc., etc. These are the customers that we already support. So as we said, we came out of financial services and banking. That's our heritage. But obviously then when you start to look at it, you start to find there's other industry sectors that have the same kind of requirements, regulatory requirements, that can benefit from that heritage in financial services. And these companies are global. So, for example, GSK use it for their pharmaceutical business. And this week, the reason why the co-founders are not here today is because they're presenting at the IBM Impact Conference in Las Vegas to 10,000, to an audience of 10,000 people there, about what we're doing with GlaxoSmithKline. So this is a pretty big market. IT operations management is a multi-billion-dollar industry. The interesting thing is this particular segment is very, very low adoption. So people are still attacking this problem from a manual perspective, which is obviously more costly. There's better ways, smarter ways of approaching this problem. So we can see in the next couple of years there's an opportunity to really harvest this market opportunity because it significantly gets more adoption. How do we do that? We go to market through direct sales. So directly talking to customers like yourselves. So 80% of our revenue comes from that particular channel. But we also have global agreements with IBM, Red Hat, and also we're just about to launch something in the next quarter with Amazon. So we actually have an Amazon marketplace offer that we're going to do around that area. So we're playing with the usual suspects who actually give us access to market and brand rub-off as well. But also we also compete with IBM and some of the other mega vendors as well. But also with some niche quantities. What we actually are able to do is, because we've got a plug-in architecture, we have the ability to do the approach where we have a core platform, but then we can integrate to lots of other platforms as well, quite easily. And deploy that in minutes and hours rather than months and years, which obviously is something about that velocity. So how do you get speed with compliance? That's the key these days, about actually that continual innovation. The team has had decades of experience in financial services and in deployment automation capabilities. We've recently augmented the team and brought on people who've actually been involved in larger organizations and also startups that have actually from Silicon Valley through to global organizations to help scale the software business. Because the key challenge we've got for MidVision is actually turning it from a best kept secret into something that more customers can benefit from. So we've grown the business to $8 million revenue today. The reason we're at the Innotribe challenge is because effectively what we want to do is get that, increase awareness of what we do, and obviously acquire more customers, help customers get the benefit from using our capability and our software platforms, and help you transform how you get that innovation to market quicker. Final thing to say is if you do have your chip, we'd appreciate your vote. And if you want to talk to us later or tweet about us, that's our Twitter handle. Thanks very much for your time.